What if your child gets kidnapped in the middle of the night, and you don't have a choice but to ask help from your grumpy, old landlord? Little did you know that she isn't just an ordinary old lady. Welcome to What a Story. The story opens with an elderly woman named Lou and her pet dog Jax in the rear of her home, where she discovers a metal case that had been hidden previously. She begins destroying its paperwork and film from an outdated camera reel. After burning everything, she takes a seat and drinks some booze. She then prepares and fires her weapon before aiming it beneath her chin. The following day, Lou goes deer hunting and harvests a deer. She dismembers the deer despite having arthritis, and carries the carcass to the back of her truck. She then makes a stop at the bank to take out her funds. A TV news story draws her attention. The teller called out to her in an effort to get her attention. She instructs the teller to hand over all of her savings to her. She gathers her cash and walks toward her vehicle. As soon as she enters, she observes the sheriff petting Jax through her door. When the sheriff queries her about the disemboweled deer waste before getting in her car, she denies having any knowledge of it. The sheriff suggests her buy a copper bracelet after noticing the pain in her wrist that is caused by arthritis. She turns down his offer and drives away. A young single mother named Hannah is doing laundry and playing hide-and-seek with her daughter. Hannah discovers V hiding beneath the front wooden stairway. After some time passes, V asks her mother when her daddy was going to return home because he has been away for a while. Hannah interrupts her by saying that they will play another round of hide-and-seek. Lou arrives in her pickup and approaches Hannah to request the payment of the rent. Lou is leaving Hannah when she hears the weather prediction on the radio. Distracted, she almost runs over V, who is still playing, and rushing onto the road. Hannah approaches Lou on why she have to drive so quickly. Lou informs her before leaving that the world is not her playground. Chris visits Hannah later to see her. Chris and Hannah had just started dating, and Chris hoped they would make it permanent. Hannah is questioned by Chris on whether she informed V of her father's passing. Hannah claims that she needed more time. As Chris navigates the storm, he spots a hitchhiker in need of a ride. He makes a pit stop to pick up the hitchhiker, and they strike up a discussion. Chris assures him that he would be glad to assist. A song is being played on the stereo by the hitchhiker. As they both begin to appreciate the song, the hitchhiker abruptly stops and attacks Chris. Lou had discovered another case in her yard. As she flips through a roll of film, she starts burning the images. After burning the photo reel, she sits down to write a letter of suicide. Meanwhile, Hannah is preparing to put her daughter to bed. The electricity cuts off shortly after she hears an outside noise. Hannah leaves V in her bedroom and says she'll be back soon while heading outside to check the electricity meter. V hears a sound and hides. Hannah sees Chris's van parked in front of her home. She walks up to the van and finds Chris unconscious and bound. She begins to flee back into the house after reacting in disbelief. When she walks into V's room, V is no longer there. Lou is currently preparing to commit suicide. In a desperate attempt to get help, Hannah opened her door and went directly to her landlady's phone. Hannah informed Lou that V had just been abducted by her father. Lou offers to drive her to the sheriff and then exits. When they arrived at the car, the engine wouldn't start. When Lou lifts the hood, he discovers that the car has been equipped with a bomb. They run for cover after she snatches Hannah. The car blew up. Philip, Hannah's husband, witnesses the explosion from afar. Lou tells Hannah that she would have to track her husband and V with no car and no phone to call the sheriff. She learns from Hannah that her husband served in the U.S. Special Forces. Lou retrieves a gun from her locker. Lou begins to track the trail Philip left behind. She asks Hannah to stay behind, but Hannah declines. Lou agrees grudgingly, and they both walk away. Meanwhile, V opened her eyes to an unusual location. The man told her not to be scared. He used some hand motions to remind V that he was her father. Philip assures her daughter that mommy will follow them later. Lou and Hannah used binoculars to spot two men in a cabin. Hannah informs Lou that the men are friends of Philip. Hannah accepts Lou's knife and firearm. Lou plays the part of an elderly woman who has been hurt and is trapped in the storm. She successfully persuades a man to allow her to rest inside. The second man is already seated at the table when she enters. Lou persuades him that she is Martha, who had lost her dog in the storm. The man was suspicious, and soon grabbed her hand. She and the two men start fighting. She fights the man like a fighter with significant military training. She tortures the man for information, and he eventually confesses to Philip's location. Hannah enters the cabin. Hannah receives a bag from Lou, who instructs her to carry it outside. Lou walks over to the wall and takes the postcard. She exits the cabin to observe Hannah unpacking the bag. Lou draws Hannah's suspicions. She inquires about Lou's prior military employment. Lou ultimately admits that she had been a CIA agent. They resume looking for Philip. Lou notices Hannah's hand scars when they pause for a rest. Hannah discusses Philip's physical abuse of her. On the way, they reached a wooden hanging bridge. The storm makes it difficult for them to cross the bridge. Lou lost her grip due to her arthritis pain. Hannah also slips and tumbles. The two eventually manage to recover. When they arrive in the bay, they spot a ship. Lou enters the ship to examine it. Hannah enters. After seeing V's teddy bear cut in two, she becomes terrified. Lou rushes over to her and comforts her. Lou notices smoke billowing from the summit of the mountain across from them. She provides Hannah with a radio phone, a rifle, and instructions to go uphill to gain a signal. She informs the sheriff that her daughter has been kidnapped by her father. The line blurs before they can continue talking. The sheriff calls his deputy and orders him to inform the federal police, who are then notified. Lou succeeds in following Philip to a remote cave in the interim. She approaches Philip slowly. He then sneaks up behind Lou and steals her revolver. The huge twist in the story then occurs when it is revealed that Philip is actually Lou's son. Because Philip was hurt when Lou left him as a child while she was working as a CIA cover agent, Philip's motivation becomes obvious. Lou tries to talk sense into Philip by pleading with him not to get revenge on Hannah and V. When Lou cannot persuade Philip, Lou stabs him in the shoulder, and they begin to fight. Philip is able to stab her as well. He threatens to kill V unless Lou brings Hannah to the lighthouse. In the meantime, federal marshals call the sheriff. They tell him that Lou is a top priority target, and that Philip is wanted in connection with several murders of civilians. Hannah eventually catches up to Lou. Lou informs her that Philip is at the lighthouse. Lou reveals that Philip is her son. When Hannah challenges Lou about never expressing her affection to V, Lou responds that she had drawn them close to her to protect them. Infuriated by Lou's remark, Hannah storms off to find Philip and leaves Hannah behind. At the top of the lighthouse, Hannah eventually finds Philip. V told Philip if she could go to the restroom, and he agreed. Hannah shoots Philip in the shoulder.
Give me the gun.
When they start to fight, Hannah stabs his hand into a window. After receiving assistance from the sheriff, Lou eventually catches up to them. Philip plans to bomb the tower, but Lou manages to defuse it. Lou instructs Hannah to take V to safety while she stays behind to deal with Philip. Lou and Philip are engaged in combat in the climactic confrontation. While fighting on the water, Lou and Philip are both hurt. The U.S. Marshal chopper begins to hover toward them as they are fighting. Lou hugs Philip after giving him a loving gaze. Tearfully hugging his mother, Philip breaks down. The marshals in the helicopter fire a gun at Philip, striking him in the back. Soon after, Hannah discovered Lou's unattended suicide note and became the legal heir to her estate. Hannah receives a visit from 2 CIA officers. They questioned Hannah about her relationship with Lou in the past. In the end, Hannah sells the house and moves to Seattle with V and Jax. An elderly woman is seen looking at Hannah and V through her binoculars while they are looking forward to a new life. Thank you for watching, and see you on the next story.